And there, hello everybody. We are back. Or maybe if I turn, there we go. Oh my God. I just had to make the screen bigger. Hi everybody. We are back. Oh, was that you or me beeping? That was you. We are back. Day 3. This is interview number 2 for day 3. I just want to thank everybody again for being here for the last 3 days of this. It's been an amazing journey for me and an amazing event. 25 women from around the world sharing their stories of trauma and triumph. We have all kinds of incredible stories. There's been tears, there's been laughter, there's been shocking things. It's just been an incredible 3 days. Um, and today, so thank you all. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate all the comments and the engagement and the shares, and for all of you who are showing up and supporting the women actually who are sharing their stories, because there have been some stories and it's taken an awful lot of courage, bravery, and vulnerability for these ladies to come on live and share their stories. So I'm really grateful for all of you for your encouragement and support and all of that. I love you guys. That's been amazing. So anyway, so today we have a little bit of a different story today, and I was really excited to have Simone on for this story. We're going to be talking about food and health, and I feel that that's really, really important. As much as the trauma stories are very important as well, our physical health and our well-being is also really important as well. And food plays a huge part in our emotional well-being. So Simone is going to tell us a little bit about her journey. So Simone, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And I know a little bit about your story, and I love your story. So Simone is going to talk to us a little bit about I'm going to say this. I know I'm going to say this wrong. Her hypo, whatever. You know what? I'm not even going to try and say it because it's going to come out going blah, 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 blah. So I'm just going to give you the floor, Simone, and just tell us a little bit about um, when you first got diagnosed, what your diagnosis was, when you first got diagnosed, and the journey, your medication, and all that. So I'm just going to give you the floor and I'm going to let you go to it. So thank you and welcome, Simone.
First of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for putting this on. I've been really enjoying watching and listening to the other women's stories, and just sitting here and crying with them, and just so proud of them also for just having that strength. So my story begins back in 2002. My brother-in-law had a heart attack in late January, and then about 5 months later, my father had a heart attack. So I said to my husband, we're not putting our heads in the sand, we're going for blood tests. And I thought I would come out being the healthy one. So because I, had a 5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. So I thought I was eating quite healthily. And the doctor turned around and said, no, your husband's fine, but you have hypothyroidism.
So what exactly is that now? I don't even know what that is.
So that means that your thyroid isn't working properly, that it's underactive. Hyperthyroidism means it's overactive.
Okay.
And that's usually the people that tend to lose weight. The hypo people tend to put on weight. Okay. And so I'd been struggling a lot to actually lose the weight from pregnancy and everything. But I just thought, okay, what do I do? So the doctor said, you just need to take this pill once a day. So I went, okay, can do that. And the first day I took it, I looked at my husband at lunchtime when it was nap time for my youngest, and I just said, I've got so much energy. You need to lie down with it. I can't do it. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I've got this much energy. I actually thought that my lack of energy was just from getting up in the middle of the night and, having 2 young children and everything. But it was just suddenly, it was like my eyes did that big pop open. And I was just like, wow. So I'm like going, yep, I can take this one pill if I'm going to feel like this. Excellent. So that lasted probably about probably a good year. And then suddenly I realized, I don't have that energy anymore. So went back to the doctor and I said, can we, do my blood tests again, just make sure everything's all right and stuff. And he just said, no, like your TSH levels, your thyroid stimulating hormone levels, falling. So I think we just need to, up the dosage of your medication. But I think I'd really like you to go and see a specialist. So I said, okay. So up the dosage and I went to see this specialist and basically he wanted to put me on another drug called metformin. So I said to him, what is this drug? And he said, well, because you've also got insulin resistance, this drug is actually going to help with all the excess sugars in your body. So you had to take it half an hour before your meal. Now, having 2 young kids, I didn't really know when I was going to eat because I was doing the stay-at-home mum thing. Right. So I was, running on their schedule. So after a week, I went back to my local doctor and I just said, look, I can't do this. I'm not taking that metformin. I said, I don't know when I'm going to be eating. I said, it's balancing out sugars. I said, just tell me how not to put the sugar in my mouth.
Right.
And he just went, And I just went like, okay, no help. So then, we're talking about 2003, 2004, internet and everything wasn't as big as what it was, as easy now. So, but I did manage to find a book on thyroid. So I managed to order that and get it sent to me. Well, I needed a PhD to understand
I bet
what these people were saying. It was so medical. And I just sat there and I went, oh my God, I feel so stupid. Like, how can I not understand this?
Right.
Because it was basically telling you what the thyroid does in the body and how it connects to this and that. And I was like sitting there going, my God, I feel so stupid. So as the years went on, I was battling trying to lose weight. It would just come back that usually by about 2 p.m, my eyes were stinging. Like I could not keep them open. I had to have a minimum of a 20-minute nap. And then my husband used to say, I can set my watch that at 9:30, you'll start yawning. And it was like a spot on. And by 10, I had to be asleep. And so about 5 years after I, started the medication, my sister-in-law in Melbourne, which is like 1,000 kilometres away, had gotten this, I can't even remember what the medication was, but it's one that sort of really speeds up your metabolism to help you lose weight. And she said, look, I can't take it anymore. I'm down to like 1 hour sleep a day. And I went, oh my God, send it up here. I'm doing 10 hours at night and an hour and a half during the day or whatever. So she sent it up to me and I started taking it. And after a week, I rang her and I said, I've got no idea what you do, no idea what you're talking about. I'm still sleeping 10 hours a night and an hour during the day.
Wow.
I just went, why is it that I'm got this and I'm watching all these other mums when I'm doing school pickups and everything, and they've lost all their weight and they've got all the energy and everything. And I'm just like going, what is
like
it
a zombie.
I'm not getting?
Like you're a zombie.
Yeah, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like the weight was going up and down, but never back to where I was before pregnancy. So the medication, was just going up and up and up. And I was just like, I went to this place for a week and I called it fat camp because basically everyone there was there to lose weight except for one girl. And they taught you about how to eat and everything like that. And you did exercise for 4 hours a day sort of thing. So,
Right.
I lost my 4 kilos in that week and everything. And then I went home and I go, okay, I'm not doing 4 hours of exercise a day. And then, of course, the weight started to climb back on. And I'm like, oh, seriously, what is this? I'm trying to eat these little meals and stuff like that. So come January 2017, I basically was 115 kilos. I had spent the whole of the year before waking up every morning and saying, okay, get up and go for a walk. And for an hour, I laid in bed and just kept saying, get up and go for a walk. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't do it. So my mother-in-law said to my husband, I really want you to watch this this documentary, and it was called Forks Over Knives. So we sat down to watch it, and it was a whole health thing. So my husband said, okay, you watch it and then tell me what I need to know. I said, okay. I watch this documentary. I go downstairs to the garage and I go, right, we're going vegan. And he's like, excuse me?
No more bacon for you.
So I just said, you know what? You told me to watch the documentary. Made sense to me. So going vegan. But what happened was I found out that there's a guy in America, and he teaches people how to grow their business, where they all pay this, large sum of money. They go together, and I think he puts them in groups or whatever. So if one person is putting out some form of a course or something like that, then he sends an email to everyone else that was at the course. And so they send it out to their email list.
Oh, cool.
So after watching, this Forks Over Knives and, getting onto their website and looking up their recipes and asking for their, support emails each week or whatever, suddenly I was getting all these other emails. So I got one from a lady called Dr. Isabella Wentz, and she calls herself the Thyroid Pharmacist. Oh, nice. And she was doing what's called a doco-series. So it's over 9 days, and it's 2 hours each day. And you can watch it for free so long as you watch it in that first 24 hours that it's put out. So I would race home from work and I would sit here like on the computer going, okay, tell me. And if you can imagine 18 hours of interviews that she did was so much information to take on board. Right. But by the time I got to the end, I just went, are you serious? Are you telling me that if I cut out gluten, cut out dairy, make sure I'm getting iodine, make sure I'm getting selenium, that I'm going to be able to help change my thyroid? I was ropeable. I was absolutely ropeable, going, oh my God. So that was the end of February. Okay. And at the same time, from one of these people that had done this thing, I got another email about a book that came out, and it was called Brightline Eating. And I just went, okay, let's, do it. And I, ordered it, read the first chapter, and all the, fear came up that I couldn't have flour and I couldn't do this. And I'm thinking, but that's what I'm meant to be doing. Right. Sort of thing. And I just went, yeah, okay, I'll get to it. I'm just, I'm settling into this sort of thing. And then, Facebook always grabs your stuff and, and says, oh, your friend is doing this, or your friend likes this, or whatever. So by the time I got to the end of March, one of the other mums that I knew when my daughter was in preschool texted me and said, oh, are you doing the Brightline Eating, the 14-day challenge? And I went, what's the 14-day challenge? So I jumped onto, the website. And, it's one of those ones that goes through. It's like, and you get the steak knives and you get this and you get that. And okay, yeah. So I was going through the 14-day challenge, but then it goes on about this 8-week boot camp. So I'm, listening to the whole thing as it's, scrolling down and everything like that. And when it got to the bottom of, normally it's this price, but today only it's this price and everything like that. My father, who had died At that point, he had died 6 years earlier, screamed in my head, do it.
Seriously?
Seriously. And I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
So I signed up for this boot camp, and it was no flour, no sugar. And because I was vegan, which meant also then no dairy.
Okay.
So within 3 weeks, my whole attitude, my whole face, my whole body, everything changed.
I can just
Absolutely
imagine.
everything. Within 5 days of starting this, I went to someone's 40th birthday party. So you can imagine in 5 days, I wasn't able to really lose that much weight.
Right.
Every single person that I knew said, oh my God, you look amazing. What are you doing?
Really?
Every single person. And I was just like, wow. So it was really hard to stick to, because you could only eat 3 meals a day, and you had to weigh and measure. And it was all done. You could have like this much protein, this much carbohydrate, this much fat.
Right. Very strict.
Very strict.
Yeah.
And I lasted for 5 months.
Wow. Holy Toledo. Good for you.
I know. So I
That's
lost 30.
amazing.
Yeah, I lost 30 kilos in 5 months.
That's like, how many pounds is that? That's like over 60 pounds, isn't it? No,
Yeah,
more than.
I think it's like 2.2 pounds. So I think it's like 70 or 75 pounds or something.
Wow. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I felt amazing up until like the beginning of the 5th month.
Okay.
And then I actually, my bones were really cold. So I knew that there was something wrong. So at that time, you start Googling cold bones, and it's like, add, this and that. And I'm like thinking, so once you start on one of those diets and you go off it, you can't really get back on. You've lost the momentum and everything like that. But 3 weeks after I started that diet, I got this headache across the back of my head. It was really strange. And I was like saying to my husband, I have absolutely no idea, but I just keep getting this thought that my medication's too high. So I'm going to take one of my tablets and break it in half. Next morning, no headache. And I went, okay, cool.
Because you were still on medication.
Yeah. So another week or two went past, and then basically got the same headache. And I went, okay, let's break the medication in half again. Headache went away. And I just went, right, okay. So even though by the end of the 5th month, my bones were getting cold and everything, I wasn't on medication, but I just felt amazing. Had so much energy, so much everything. Right. So I just went, you know what, if I want to do this, live a vegan lifestyle, I want to make sure that I'm doing it healthy. So I then enrolled to do what was I don't know if it was like a diploma or a certificate in whole food plant-based eating.
Okay.
And it was at a college where I had done some learning 20 years earlier in regards to massage and stuff. So I went there, part-time, and I was just getting all this information. And so most of your teachers are naturopaths. So I was had all this great, teachers that I could say, okay, cold bones, what's that from?
Yeah. Let me fix my cold bones.
Yeah. So that started me then on the whole studying of the health and everything. And then I just thought, okay, I want to be a healthy so-called, vegan or plant-based person, but I also want to try and get my thyroid under control. And what I was noticing that my food addiction was definitely white bread. So if you can imagine, I've got a husband and I've got these 2 kids, and they love white bread.
Who doesn't love white bread?
Well, exactly, right?
Right.
So there I am, if you can imagine this, having to buy the white bread each day, have it sitting on the kitchen bench.
I can't imagine.
Then have it sitting at the table for dinner.
No.
smelling it as they're cutting it and putting whatever on it, and then sitting there like the little martyr saying, "Oh no, thank you."
Oh, I would
On the
die.
whole, like drooling and everything like that.
I would die. I'm like, where's the Nutella? I can't do this anymore.
Exactly.
Oh
So
my God.
it took me over like 4 years to actually get to the point of saying, what do you actually want, Simone? Do you want to live on medication or do you want to have a healthy thyroid? So, and it was really interesting because about 10 days ago, I went into like a slump. I think there was like psychic attacks happening everywhere and everything. And, for whatever reason, I'd bought like a French baguette from, my husband. And it was like, it was still warm and the smell, and I just went, yeah. And about 15 weeks ago or so, I actually started on Facebook. I called it Food and Thyroid. And then each week I thought I'm going to pick something and I'm actually just going to put it out there for people. And I'm going to research it so that they can actually understand this is how this affects your thyroid and your body and what it's going to do.
So is that like
And
a Facebook group that you have or a page or what is that?
yeah, it's just called Food and Thyroid. I made it into a group.
Okay, cool.
And anyone can join and whatever.
Oh, you'll
And
have to give me the link. We'll drop the link to that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so just each week, this Sunday, I just do it every Sunday night. So this Sunday night, it's going to be on sugar and how sugar basically affects our body and affects our thyroid and everything like that.
I'm a sugar addict. I need to see. I need to come and watch on Sunday. Yeah, I'm a sugar addict.
So
honestly.
Just quickly on the side, buy some grapes. Grapes are nearly better for us than like natural sugar and everything. And my kids, we put them in the freezer. And so they take them out and I put it, when I bring home like the big thing, I actually then take them off and put them into a little Ziploc bag as a serving size. So then my kids just grab a bag and they know that's like a serving of grapes. And so they put half in the freezer, half in the fridge, and they just grab it.
Nice. Good idea. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's what started then me on like the whole research of the thyroid. So I still get emails from, Dr. Isabella Wentz from, her doco series in 2017. I get emails from a guy called Dr. Weston Childs, who was a chiropractor. And then he was having so many clients with thyroid and he was doing so much research on that he's actually stopped being a chiropractor and actually now just being someone that, helps people like get over their thyroid and everything. There's another guy called Dr. Peter Osborne, and he puts up on YouTube lots of videos and actually helps people to understand, medical stuff and in a really, easy way. I've got Dr. David Brownstein's book, The Medical Medium, put out a book called Thyroid Healing. And so that's been really fascinating. And there's a lady called Kylie Wolfick, who's actually a naturopath, who put out a book called the Thyroid Encyclopedia. So these are all the different things that I go to as my first of all, to like pick a subject and stuff like that, and then do a little bit of research. So like in the sugar one this week, I'm actually even looking at Louise's Heal Your Life to find out, emotionally, because, so many of us are sugar addicts and everything. Absolutely. Why is it?
And there's also a lot of people use food as a tool to heal whatever emotions that they're feeling, right? Sadness, anger, whatever we eat, because eating is just, it comforts us. So we eat a lot of really crappy thing, but it's comfort food. So a lot of us that Louise, I know that book. I actually owned that book, Heal Your Life. That's an amazing, like, it's a real eye opener. Like when you read that, you're like, oh my God, this actually controls that. And you're like, yeah, it does. And you'll see when you start taking these things, food or emotions, when you start removing them or healing them, you instantly see how much better you feel. So it's amazing. Like the human body is amazing, really.
Oh, absolutely. And there's also a book called The Pleasure Trap.
I've heard of that.
And so basically, he basically says that when you have a food that has fat, sugar, and salt, the three together connect to make this thing that in our bodies go, oh my God.
Really?
So think about like all the things that we're addicted to, like all the chocolate, the hot chips, and, you know, all of that. They've all got the fat, the sugar, and the salt.
Right.
And you'll never find those three things together in something that's made naturally.
Right, of course. There you go. Very interesting.
So,
So I'm going to get you to, I want you to maybe just email me or whatever the link to your Facebook group, because I'd like to drop that into the thread below in the Facebook under this live in the Facebook page on the comments. I'm going to drop that link so anybody can join your group.
right.
If they want to, that'd be great. So, so you must feel like $1 million now. Have you lost all the weight that you've wanted to lose, and you're healthy as a peach? How do you feel now?
Look, I feel amazing. I haven't lost the weight. I'll actually email you a photo, and you won't believe that that's me.
I can't believe you. I mean, just in this conversation, you've lost over 70 pounds, and just that's amazing. That's crazy.
Well, I put 15 of that back on.
Right. Okay.
You know, but still, even though, like at the moment, like I weigh 95 kilos,
Okay.
which is, you know, over the obese sort of thing. But I've never, you know, weighed this much and still look this good.
Right.
You know, and that's the whole thing. Like I've got the energy, like, you know, woke up at 6:30 this morning, did my little sort of meditation before I got out of bed, went for my walk, you know, came up, organized my stuff. I follow a lady called Chef AJ, and she says, start your morning with vegetables.
Oh, okay.
Because the first thing that you have in the morning is what your body will crave for the rest of the day.
Okay.
And so if you start with something sweet, then you'll actually be wanting sweet things for the rest of the day.
Right.
So,
interesting. I usually start with 2 glasses of water in the morning with some apple cider vinegar. And then I actually just recently switched to black coffee, like nothing, like black. I just call it black. It's black coffee. I just recently switched to it, and I've grown used to it now. But that's how I start my day. I start my day with 2 glasses of water and a cup of black coffee, and that's how we get going now. So, and I tried, or still dabble in the keto. So, you know, minimizing for me, especially minimizing sugar and like French fries and bread. Cause I live in Guatemala and we have lots of bakeries in the little town I live in. And we have lots of really yummy French fry stands, and I just want to eat them all the time. That's all I want to eat. So it was really hard for me, but I try to minimize, you know, going to the French fry stand and not having donuts because they're all freshly made. Like everything tastes amazing here. So it's been a real struggle for me, but I've actually, I would say probably about 80% now. I'm like, I've reduced by 80% like sugar and breads and pastas and all of that stuff. And I've noticed a difference in my skin actually, and my energy, because I've always had really bad skin. I've always had a lot of energy though. I have a really high metabolism, but I've noticed a huge difference in my skin and the way I feel and all that stuff, just even by 80% cutting all of that out of my body. So, and I don't have, and reducing migraines as well, because I'm a migraine sufferer. So I know the sugar, I know the sugar is part of that, but yeah. So when you change your eating, and I know a lot of people go, oh, I like French fries and I'm not giving up chocolate. Well, then you're never going to be healthy if you're just going to keep eating that crap, you know, like how important is your health to you? Like your health should be very, very important to you, because the way I feel now, like I feel good and healthy now. But I mean, I want to feel like this when I'm 70 and 80 and 85 and 90. I don't want to be, you know, all debilitated because of and because I was a cause of it because of all the crap food I ate. You know what I mean?
And there's a really big difference. Like, so like I created a website also called Food and Thyroid.
Oh yes, I have that link.
Mm-hmm. So I've got on there basically like the you know, do the no gluten and do all this and everything like that. And I'm also putting together a course that goes over 4 weeks. to actually help people by giving them recipes and things like that. Because
Nice.
people get stuck in this routine. We basically have about 6 or 7 recipes that we just keep doing over and over again. And so what all the scientists and everything are beginning to realize is that our gut and our brain talk to each other non-stop every single day. And they're actually thinking that our gut now is what actually influences our brain. So our gut says, brain, what do you want? He goes, I want something that's going to make me feel great. And the gut goes, what about this? And the brain goes, oh, yeah. And so it actually goes through and says, what was the last thing that you ate? And says, do you want that? And then do you want something else? And then it's like goes through what you've been eating.
Right.
And so if that's part of that pleasure trap, then that's what's going to trigger you to want that again.
That kind of makes sense, actually. Really.
So if you're actually putting in the good food, then that's actually what you're going to be ending up craving.
Wanting more of. Yeah.
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 There was also a lady back in the 70s that wrote a book called Volumetrics. And she worked out about how much water was in each bit of food. So she said if our bodies are like 85% water, then we need to be eating food that's full of water to be filling up our bodies. So the chemical formula for the water in our bodies is not H2O.
Okay.
But it is the same formula as the water that's in food. So if you're actually dehydrated, the water you get from a piece of watermelon or a pineapple or something like that is actually going to go into your body and into basically exactly what you need rather than a glass of water.
Okay. That's
because
interesting.
Of the chemical formula, because it's slightly different.
Right.
So the water in our body and the water in food is exactly the same. So it's just like osmosis. It just goes like, combined together.
Okay, right.
But the actual water we get from a tap, plus most of our tap water here in Australia especially, has fluoride and everything in it. So our body's like going, okay, what do I have to get through to, where's just the H2O bit sort of thing?
Right.
And so that's, it's sort of like, had a friend who was doing, a marathon. And I said to her, just, whatever you do, freeze grapes.
Right.
And take them and, make sure you're having so much salad and fruit. And that's why there's so many plant-based athletes out there now, because they're getting so much water into their bodies and so many different nutrients and minerals and vitamins that their body's not having to pull it from what's already been stored in there, because they're just like putting it more and more into it. So then they've got so much more energy. And there's a great documentary called Game Changers, and it's about all these athletes and everything. And the scientists are doing all the studies with them, and they're like going, okay, so you're healing 3 weeks quicker than the meat eater, and these football teams and everything, and the meat eaters looking at the plant-based going, so what are you doing?
Right. Huh, interesting. Okay, we're gonna get carried away here. We're gonna wrap this up a little bit, but I just want to thank you for sharing all that nutritional information. That's great. I'm still gonna eat bacon. Sorry, but
that's the whole thing. It's not to say that you can't.
Right.
But it makes sure that if the bacon you're eating, if you have a thyroid issue especially, has no gluten, and try not to, it's like if you're doing like the calorie density of food, so like a vegetable, like, piece of, some carrot or lettuce or whatever is going to be like 100 calories per pound, whereas your oil is 4,000 calories per pound.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you think about how much salad you can eat, to get to that 4,000 calories.
Right. Or holy crap. That's a lot. So I just want to wrap this up with one quick question that I've been asking all the ladies at the end of their interviews. So for anybody who's watching this who is having problems with their thyroids or their health or their weight or their, because your emotions are linked to the things that you eat as well, your energy level, all of that is linked to everything that you eat. So if you had one piece of advice to give to somebody who wants to change their health but is having a hard time, whatever, what one solid gold piece of advice would you give somebody who wants to start, um, eating better or getting healthy or taking the first step to a better, healthy lifestyle?
So you, first of all, you definitely need to go gluten free, and you really need to be dairy free.
Mm.
And I would also suggest that you get a good multivitamin that has iodine and selenium in it.
Okay.
So, like for me, it's taken me a long time, but I actually even now made my own little capsule for my iodine of dulse powder
Okay.
because I can't stand the taste.
Okay. I'll make my own.
I make my, I swear, I tried it in smoothies and this and that, trying to hide the taste, and I was like gagging, and I just went, okay, quick pill, there we go.
You're funny. That's cute. I also want you to be, I do have the link over on your profile to your website, right? So please send me the link to your Facebook group, though. I really, really want that link, and then I can drop that into the thread here, so people who are watching can come and join your group if they want to get some Sunday night tips
Yeah,
from you.
please.
That sounds amazing.
You know, in Australia, there's 40,000 people diagnosed with thyroid issues each year. So, you know, and I just don't believe that 40,000 people need to be, you know, onto medication
Yeah.
that isn't going to work for them if they're still having gluten. Like gluten is the biggest thing,
Yeah. Well,
you know.
I'm a firm believer that pills and medication are just band-aids.
Yeah,
And I think that everybody can heal their own lives through food. Um,
yeah,
I just, and through
yeah,
healing inner wounds and trauma that you have. When you heal all that, your demons and your diet, then you can heal almost
yeah.
your entire life. That's just what I think. So,
Exactly. So I go to like a naturopath. I think it's also someone you call like a functional medicine
mhm.
over there and whatever. But
Naturopath, yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, because they actually learn about, you know, diet and fruits and vegetables and everything like that. In Australia, all of our doctors, I think they get maybe one lecture on, you know, diet and fruits and vegetables.
Right, yeah.
So considering someone that gets 4 years of it, as opposed to one lecture, I think I'll take the person with the 4 years.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you so much, Simone, for taking your time and for this wonderful. This was just for me. It was a completely educational video. I love this. This was great, and I think it's just going to help a lot of people, honestly, who are suffering, even from depression or whatever.
Yeah,
Change your diet and change your life, man. Like seriously, and I need
definitely.
more people needs to know that. So I really appreciate this. This interview and this live was great. So thank you
Uh,
so much for your time, all your knowledge and education. Please don't forget to send me that link to your group, and I'm going
yeah,
to, I'll drop the link to your site. I'm going to go back over to Facebook, onto the thread, and drop the link to your site in the
yeah.
comments.
Because
I need
on
to,
there,
yeah,
there's
I need
lots
to,
of books and different things of, you know, if
yes,
people want to go and see, you know, what are the
yes,
books that I mentioned and stuff, they're
yeah.
on there. And, you know, they're the medical medium and David Brownstein, they write in such layman's terms that, you know, you don't feel stupid. You go, okay, I understand this. Thank you.
Good, good, awesome. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day,
Thank you.
and I
You too.
appreciate you. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.